Welcome back to the French Revolution Part 3. We left off talking about the period in French history known as the Great Fear and the Reign of Terror, where Maximilien Robespierre guillotined about 40,000 people in 1 year. So France is not doing well in this post-revolution era, and they're going to continue to have struggles. These struggles come about because other countries around Europe, other European countries who had monarchs, who the people in those other countries, other European countries, didn't have representation in the government, didn't have their natural rights protected. And so these countries started to become fearful that these Enlightenment ideals would spread to their countries. So these countries are going to unite against the new French government. These countries consist of Austria, Prussia, Great Britain, Spain, the Netherlands, and they're actually going to invade France, not necessarily to take over France and make it theirs, but to reestablish a monarchy in France and restore the power of kings in Europe. In response, France issued a conscription order, which is a draft. Men between 18 and 45 had to serve in the military. However, they needed someone to lead the military. And that's where we see the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. He's a French military leader. He was not elected. He was not elected into power. He actually led what we call a coup d'état, which is a quick seizure of power of the government. So he had a group of men, a group of his loyal soldiers, went down to the capital and took over the government. He was able to gain control. He was a strict military leader, and he ruled France that way. He reestablished order, and he pushed off these invading European countries. And because of doing this, he's going to name himself emperor in 1804. So he does have some success restoring order in France. He preserves many elements of the French Revolution, national school system, banking, required all citizens pay taxes, maintain civil equality. We call it the Napoleonic Code, in which all citizens, no matter job, income, anything, had to follow the same laws, which was pretty revolutionary at the time, and religious freedom. However, he didn't stop there. If he just stopped at France, things might have been good, but he gets a little greedy with his power. And with that, he wants to spread the benefits of the French Revolution. He wants to conquer all of Europe. He wants to build this French empire. And because of his control, because of the draft in France, they have a lot of soldiers, they're organized. And by 1812, Napoleon controlled most of Europe. So if we look at this map here, we see the French Empire is in, let's say, dark blue or purple here. The dependent states are in orange, which means those are the states that Napoleon actually took over. And then we have allied with Napoleon in the light blue. So we see Austrian Empire and we see the Russian Empire. That's key to know that the Russian Empire actually created an alliance with Napoleon. And Napoleon will continue to be at war with England throughout his whole time as emperor. So the revolutionary practices imposed within his empire, he ended feudalism, he had equal rights, religious tolerance, and he had uniform secular law codes, these Napoleonic codes. However, once again, Napoleon gets too greedy, call it hubris, right? He began to turn his vision towards Russia and want to take over Russia. So he's going to invade Russia in 1812, and it's going to fail pretty miserably. Russia is going to retreat to the deeper parts of Russia, and then the Russian winter is going to hit, and the French troops could not handle the harsh winter. They finally had to retreat out of Russia. 400,000 of the 600,000 French soldiers died. And most of these were not necessarily from fighting alone, but from infections, from battle wounds, starvation, and then eventually exposure to the cold. So several of Napoleon's conquered nations successfully won back their freedom. They defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18th, 1815. So they exiled Napoleon to an island in South Atlantic where he died several years later. And it marked the end of this French Revolution era.